Welcome on in. It is the Midday Show. Hugh Douglas, Joe Giglio, 215-592-9494 on a football Friday. Of course, we wait till Monday for the Eagles, but a lot to discuss today on the Birds. We'll get to some NFL stuff, our weekly features. Of course, Kyle behind the glass, you guys with us. Good morning, Hugh.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Philly. How everybody doing, man?
You know what? Doing pretty well today as we get ready for a big weekend in the NFL. Hopefully we get some help for the Eagles.
Started off pretty good last night, though.
Whew. We might get a coach firing today.
Somebody got dragged.
Oh, my goodness gracious. That was pretty ugly last night, Thursday Night Football. But Hugh, listening to Nick Sirianni yesterday, this week, since the game on Sunday, yeah, I think the Eagles are feeling it right now, feeling the pressure to change and to be different than they've been certainly the last couple of weeks. And I think really, here's what's top of mind. I bet they're wondering this. I know we're all wondering this. And it's this reality. Like, are they... Is this who the Eagles are, or was this just a rough stretch the last 2 weeks? Hugh, what do you think about this? Because that really sets up the rest of the season. Like, is this who they are, what they've been 15 weeks, or is this just been a couple rough games?
I think it's been a rough patch. You know, I dropped a stat yesterday where the Eagles have played, in the last few weeks, the top 10, like 7 of the top 10 defenses.
Well, certainly 2 of the best ones the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, definitely that. So it's one of those things where we knew this was going to be a tough stretch. If anything, the 2 games that we won, I would have rather lost those and won the 2 that we lost.
Sure, the NFC ones versus the AFC ones?
Yeah. Definitely would have wanted those 2. But it didn't happen that way, unfortunately. And we are where we are, and it has left the Eagles soul searching right now. That's the biggest thing. You know, there's been a lot of talk this week about being upset and all this other stuff, which I totally get. Been in that situation. But I also know that, you know, talk is cheap. You got to go out there and prove it, man. You've had 2 weeks in a row where, you know, you've given me lip service, because that's what it is. You've given me lip service. So I still believe in this team, but I need to see it. Like I believe they can get it done, but I need to see it, because I'm at the position now. I'm at the point now where I believe them, but if you don't show me something Monday, then that belief is wavering. That belief is wavering against a team that's going to come in just as desperate as the Dallas Cowboys were last week. Because let's be honest, like when we talk about needing the game, the Dallas Cowboys needed the game more. I would have loved for us to win that game, no doubt about it. I would have loved for us to win it. But they needed it more than we did. I wanted to win it for bragging rights and amongst other things. But, yeah, now you have a team that's fighting for their playoff lives, and you're going out there to play them. And history hasn't been on your side in the last 15 years.
It is not. No, you're right. Hugh, you're right about that.
You know what I mean? So you got to go out there. You got to make it happen.
Yeah, you do. Here's where I'm at. In 215-592-9494. I said yesterday they have time to change this. But I'm at the point now where I will believe it when I see it. Like, yeah, they have the time.
Yes, it is.
It is on their side. But I'm not going to believe anything until I see it. All year long, this team's been telling me the standard's a standard. There always rises. We haven't played our best football. Oh, it's time, like now, to start playing your best football. This belief that this team's just going to like snap their fingers and start playing great football, I need to see it.
Yeah.
You know, offensively, they've had moments. They certainly have had moments. You know, the second half against Buffalo was certainly a moment for Jalen Hurts in the offense, and they scored a lot against the Rams when they needed to, and they scored a lot against the Commanders when they needed to. But the reality is, for the past month, since the bye,
pedestrian.
The offense is just like, other than a big second half against Buffalo, what have they really done? Not much at all. And the defense, it's been like this all year. This is who they are on defense. Now, you know, this might be a good week for Sean Desai and the defense to say, hey, we got to make some changes here. Maybe some young guys play, whatever. But I need to see it. So the way I view it is, this is who the Eagles are. They are a good football team, but they are certainly a flawed football team. And on defense, they're not good. I mean, this is a team propped up by its offense. I mean, Hugh, we're at the point now where time is on their side, but time is also running out.
Yeah,
and it feels like I'm watching an hourglass, and it's like, all right, in the beginning it was full. Like, all right, Joe, relax. They have time to figure this out. But that thing is running thin now. They have to start playing better football. Otherwise, all the dreams we have, I mean, you know, we've been planning for us to hang out in Vegas. You know, you're going to be hanging out with Britney Spears. I think.
Oh, no, but I changed that.
Oh, yeah, it's over?
Because the Wu-Tang has a residency that starts during the week of the Super Bowl.
All right, so that's the plan now?
So we're going to go hang out. We're going to try to hang out with the RZA.
Well, guess what?
And Method Man.
None of that's happening if the Eagles don't figure this out.
None of it.
Because they're not sending us to Vegas to go watch the 49ers and the whoever.
They're
Ravens.
definitely not sending us to Vegas.
No.
We're definitely not getting tickets to watch their residency.
None of that's happening unless the Eagles turn this around. 215-592-9494. Is this just a rough stretch for the Eagles, or is this who they are? And it was just propped up or masked over the course of the season by some clutch wins, good fortune, teams they were playing. Because the last 2 weeks, Hugh, the NFL is a way of making it very crystal clear at some point, right? It might be muddy, but when you play the good teams, it gets pretty clear. And the last 2 weeks, it's been pretty clear they're not where they need to be because they got smacked.
Yeah, they have some deficiencies. And that's not to say that every team at this point has deficiencies, but the Eagles have glaring deficiencies. And the fact that their offense has become stagnant over the last couple of weeks, that does not help your cause or your campaign to make it to the Super Bowl. Now, I do believe that this is a rough patch, but I also know and feel like this defense is not that good right now. They have some deficiencies back there that they need to fix, and most of it is from communication. But like I said yesterday, Joe, I'm not going to waver off at this point. The way that we get to where we want to be, we have to be carried by the offense. This goes back to my point that I made when I first got here, when I kept telling y'all, defense is not a necessity. No, wait a minute, I said it wrong. It's a luxury, not a necessity.
You got it, yeah.
I got it. Hot taking. I messed up my own hot take.
Yeah, you did. It's okay.
He's an idiot.
And I would argue back that they need a defense better than this because
they do.
This is bad.
But we've seen defenses win that have given up a lot of points. We won a Super Bowl. We won a Super Bowl giving up a lot of points.
I know, but they had a better defense to help get them there.
They did.
Yeah, look, I think we've reached a point of no return on the defense where if you expect the defense now to go back to being a top 10 unit, you're in la-la land. Like, that's just not happening. Now, can they button things up a little bit and be passable?
Yes.
That's still on the table, yeah. And that's got to start on Monday night against the Seahawks. Geno Smith or not, we should see if he gets to play in that game. And it looks like he's trending in that direction. But they got to be better. And, Hugh, you're right in this sense, and I agree with you here. The offense needs to carry the day. However we talk about the phrase or necessities or whatever, the offense needs to carry the day.
Oh, no doubt about that.
And that's why the last month has been disheartening on offense because they just get off to these ridiculously slow starts. Like, that can't happen. They can't be down again on Monday night to the Seahawks. 215-592-9494. It's how you get aboard on this Football Friday as we look ahead with the Eagles. And really, think about what they are at this point. Is this just a rough stretch for the team? And it's been a rough stretch, obviously, the last 2 weeks, significantly. Or this is who they are. And the way I view it is they've had 14 weeks to show us who they are. And this is what they've shown us. And I need it to be better. I need to see it to believe it. That's my mantra for this team. I'm done just blindly believing they're going to turn it around because we love them to and we want them to and all that stuff. They got to show it to us with coaching, with better play, with execution, with all of that starting Monday night against the Seahawks. Kyle, where are you at on the Eagles here? Is this just a rough stretch, or after 14 weeks, 13 games, is this who they are?
I can't say that it's who they are because I feel like we're sort of focusing on what we saw the last two games.
Right.
There's no way that I can say that what they just put out there over the last two games is who they are. They did, like, for the sake of making excuses, they did just go through maybe the toughest stretch you'll ever see a team play in football,
Yep.
like both record-wise, great offenses, great defenses, and when you have a tough schedule like that, sometimes you'll catch some breaks along the way. Like this great team that is a great team all year might have a big injury that week. Like you'll catch a break. The Eagles got no breaks whatsoever in this
kind of
gauntlet.
the opposite,
like
with the
none.
schedule,
Yeah, like we got everybody at full strength. Everybody with something to prove. No rest advantage whatsoever. So they did end up going 3-2, or if you want to consider the Miami game, the start of the gauntlet, 5-2 through this gauntlet. So they had a pretty impressive stretch of football with no breaks. I think over the last 2 weeks, we saw the team lose their identity. And their identity in the beginning of the season, the first part, was resilience. They struggled a little bit in first halves of games, which speaks to a little bit of what you're saying. That was who they were, but also who they were was a very resilient football team that fought until the very end, and they found ways to win. I think they need to get back to that. They have the opportunity to do that over these next 4 games. The defense, yeah. I mean, we can talk about the defense talent all we want. It's not good enough, but the offense is loaded with talent. They've underachieved for this recent stretch of games, and there's another level that they can get to, and I think they will. So I think the last two games were not indicative of who they are, and more of who they are is the first stretch of the season when they were a very resilient bunch.
I hope you're right. 215-592-9494. We'll get to all your phone calls coming up here. Is this who the Eagles are or just a rough stretch? 215-592-9494. Plus, when we get back, strong words from Seth Joyner and everyone's favorite, Mike Lombardi, about this defense. Is it possible for this team to win a Super Bowl with this defense? We'll discuss it all. Midday Show, Sports Radio 94 WIP.